Hi there, my name is Abdusalam Kabirat. In this video, I'll be showing us how to make simple recipe fish roll for home use and commercial purpose. Here are the ingredients we need. We need margarine. It's very important in making our pies or rolls, meat pie, fish pie, whatever. This is nutmeg, is also important, salt, baking powder, flour, and egg. All recipes here are important in making our fish roll. Now we are going to prepare our fish sauce. This is chopped onions. This is my flour. This is salt. This is the fish we are going to use. This is shawa. If you are in Nigeria, you can use any other type of fish also. This is bonnet pepper. Use bonnet pepper. It has been grated already. And this is groundnut oil or vegetable oil. This is my seasoning. This is my salt. We are making a simple recipe fish roll that you can also use for commercial purpose. Now if you want to prepare your fish, this is the best way to do it. You can see I have chopped off the head and the tail, then I've divided it into two, this way to make it easier for you to prepare the fish for usage. I'm going to remove all the dirt and all the bone that is inside this way. So you can see I have deboned the fish. I've removed the inner bone. This fish is a bony fish, so I'll advise to use a less bony fish, especially when you are using it for maybe for home use. But this fish is cheap, and for the purpose of this video, and when you are doing it for commercial purpose, you have to reduce your cost as much as possible. So I'm trying to remove the extra bones that might be there. This is the main one. I've removed that already. I'm still going to go further to remove the bone. So our fish has been thoroughly washed and it is neat and clean. So the next thing is for us to boil it. So we're going to boil it with little quantity of water to soften it, because we are still going to debone it one more time before we finally use it for our fish fillings. I'm going to place this on fire and boil it for a little period till it is soft. Now the boiled fish is ready. Yes, I've boiled my fish and you can see it. So I'm trying to debone it one more time. It's not possible you remove all the bones, but at least you can remove it up to 80%. Can remove it up to 80%. So if you can't go through this stress, I would just advise you use a less bony fish. Use a less bony fish. I see where I'm deboning it, but the fish is still hot though. At least you can still remove one or two bones there. I see the bones. I'm deboning it. When preparing our sauce, just like the way we cook at home, that we know the required quantity of seasoning and other ingredients depending on the quantity of what we want to make. I've added a little seasoning. You can see the quantity of our fish is not too much, so make sure we use the desired quantity, the right quantity I mean. Then this is our sauce water. This is the water I use to boil the fish. Do not discard it, it's going to be useful. Then you add little, those are little, we don't need much, just a little to boil it together. Yes, and this seasoning fish fillings, you can go ahead to add other things like spring onions, carrots, even Irish potato to your desire. But for this recipe, we are making a simple homemade fish roll. That's a simple recipe that you can also use for commercial purpose and also for home consumption. So I'm going to place this on the fire to boil so that the onions, so that the water will absorb the onion flavor before we finally pour in our mashed fish. Yes, you can see I have allowed my onions to properly fry or to properly boil in the mixture. So you can see that the onion is softer. At least it's going to, it will melt with every other sauce. So after that, we'll pour in our fish. Pour in our fish. Yes. Pour in our fish, you can see it. So remember, we've already added our salt and our spices and every other thing. Then, so I'm going to return this to the fire to allow it boil a bit one more time, just to make it, for it to incorporate properly with the fish. Are you with me? Just a little quantity of water as usual, just small, just small, just small and small. We are still using the sauce water, don't discard it. So I'll return this to the fire now. While it is boiling, you add just little quantity of oil. This is about half tsp of oil, just like little quantity, just to neutralize the pepper a bit. You can see just little quantity of oil. Stir. It's almost dried. And you can see that our fish is softer. So our fish sauce is boiling already. Then you can add a little curry powder just to serve as seasoning, just a little quantity. That's okay. Then you stir it together. And make sure the fish sauce is almost dried. Yes, boil it to the extent that all the water almost dries off. Are you with me? See, so the water is almost drying off. Now that our sauce is almost dried up, you can see it. Then we add our flour. This flour is to act as binding agent, that is to make the fish stick together, to make it stick together very well when we put it in our when we use it as our fillings. Yes, when we roll it up with our dough. So the flour will make it stick together to serve as thickener and binding agents. Yes, I've added like two, like half teaspoon. Now is one. Just add a little more. Yes, and stir together very well. It's getting thicker and sticking together. You can see it. So you can just put it back on fire, just a little, just to make it react to it more a little bit. Now you can taste this sauce. You have to taste it. If the seasoning is okay, if the salt is okay, so you need to taste it before you go ahead to use it finally. So if you need to add more seasoning or more salt, just add a little and we are good to go. Yes, our fish sauce is ready. So you can see it. So this is, you can see the fish is well mashed in it. So you can call this a wet fish sauce. Yes, our fish sauce. So we are going to allow this to cool. We are going to allow this to really cool up before we start adding it into our fillings, before we start rolling it up with our dough. It has to be cool, or else it's going to melt our dough. It will melt the butter in the dough, and it will not give us a good result. So we have to allow this to cool. If you have a fan, you can just place it under the fan and allow it to cool before we start using it. Na na na. Yes, our fish sauce is completely cooled. Yes, it is cold. It is cool. Now I'll break in about one medium size of egg. I'll break it in here. So we are going to use it to mix our dough. Yes, we use it to make our dough, and we also use it to egg wash. Just stay with me. Yes, I've pressed the dough. You can see that it is not too thin and it is not too thick. Now the texture is okay like this. We are making fish roll, so try to cut it into a rectangular shape. Try to cut into a perfect rectangular shape, so that we're going to have a perfect shape for our roll. It is also the same method to make sausage roll. See that see? So try to cut your dough into a perfect rectangular shape. If you don't have this cutter, you can also use a knife to do that. You can see this is almost a perfect rectangular shape. Yes. So we have cut our dough into a perfectly rectangular shape. At least, if not very perfect, at least to get a rectangular shape like this. Then we move on with fillings, with applying our fillings. You can see. But make sure your fillings is completely cool, because if it is hot, it will melt your dough. So let's start. So you don't start from the edges, so that it does not come out. Yeah, so that it does not push out from the dough. So you start from the middle like this, or somewhere like this. You leave it little space at the edges. Start from somewhere like this. If you are seeing it. Yes, I've seen it. So you also leave a little space at the edge here, so that when you want to roll it, does not fall off when you want to roll it up. You can see it. So you spread your fillings as much as possible. Make sure it is not too much. Yes. So it's the flour that made it sticky like this, and that is what we want. Spread it very well. Spread it thinly on the dough. Spread it thinly on the dough. Yes. Maybe you can see it. Spread it thinly on the dough. Yes. You are also going to leave a little space at the edge here. Yes, at the end edge here. Yes, we are done. The next thing is to roll up the dough to form our fish roll dough. Yes, our dough is completely filled up. Then the next thing is to roll. Make sure you lubricate your hands with flour a little and lift and lift and lift and lift and lift. Yes, now the first rolling is for covering up. Hope you are following me. First rolling is for covering up the sauce. Make sure it is well covered up. Yes, sure it is well covered up. Now you can roll as many times as you want. So the first rolling is for cover up. The second rolling, yeah, it is said second rolling. You can see it. I can go ahead again to roll the third rolling. You can see it. You can see it. Now the final rolling. You roll up. Yes, our fish roll is ready. The final rolling. See our fish roll. We are baking this actually. Let's see. Now cut off excess edges. Yeah, the rollings will be more prominent after baking. Now we've made a perfectly long roll, so you can see it now. So the next thing is to cut it into our desired sizes. So I prefer to use knife so that it will cut it easily and directly. So into any size and any shape you want, you cut. You can see it. You cut. Lubricate the knife a little to your desired shape. You cut. That's it. Done. Yes. You can see that our fish roll ready. So our fish roll dough is done. You can still tight. You can still knot it more in case the ones that are not tightly knotted. You can knot it more. You have to be careful so you don't, so the fillings does not come out. Yes, my fish roll is rich. That's why the fillings is much like that. So yes, I want to prepare my pan for baking. This is baking pan. This is cake pan. Yes, I'm actually baking with my pot. I'm baking locally with gas cooker. So I'm baking with my pot. I want to prepare my pan to bake my to make my baked roll. To make my baked roll, just lubricate your pan so that it does not get sticky when it is fully baked. When it is done, lubricate it very well. And also, if you are using a baking tray, also you are going to do the same thing. And if you are you can also use oil to lubricate your baking tray or your baking pan or whatever you want to use to bake your rolls or your pie. So this is what we need basically, just the inner parts. Just the inner part. So make sure the butter or the oil covers everywhere. So another important step not to miss is to egg wash your roll before baking or before frying. This will give it a shiny appearance after baking or after frying, and it will also add to the delicious taste. And it will also prevent cracking of the pie or the roll, to prevent cracking. Once you wash it very well, prevent cracking. Just make sure, just gently. Make sure there's not too excess, because if it falls on the pan, it will get burnt when it's baking. So you just need the egg on the dough and not in the pan. So you are good to go. This is perfect. Perfectly coated with egg. It's perfectly coated with egg. La 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 la, pum pum pum. This is going to give us a delicious result. Ooh. My mouth is watering already without it being ready. Yes, it's okay. We move. Arrange your fish roll dough neatly into your baking pan or your baking tray. Make sure you leave a little space, just a little space. We are baking this. Sure. Yes. So for the baked roll and the baked pie, as I have said, I'll be baking with my pot. So this is salt. So I've used it for a long time. That's why the color has turned brown like this. So I'll be baking with my pot. Now I'll preheat this pot for about 10 minutes before I place my baking pan on it. And we're going to bake on a low heat, not too low heat, on a low heat for about 50 to 55 minutes. Yes, if you are using a gas cooker to bake, that's the time you are going to bake. So make sure your fire, your heat is on a low heat, just slightly low heat. Let me see if my camera can capture it. Can see slightly low heat. Yes, make sure it's not too high. Like I've said, I'll be baking with a small gas oven, and this is the low heat. You bake on a slightly low heat for 50 to 55 minutes. Now I have preheated my oven. Yes, my pot oven for some minutes now. So I'll place my dough gently inside it. So I'll place it gently inside it. You can see it. Yes, so I'm going to cover this up very tightly. Cover it up tightly. It's very tight to prevent escape of heat. So I'm going to allow this bake for 55 minutes, 50 to 55 minutes. But however, after about 30 minutes, you can come and check it out here to see how it is faring. Then you leave it, you cover it up again till it is fully baked. Yes, since you are starting for the first time, especially we are baking for the first time, so you have to make sure you come and check it. So our fish roll is ready after about 55 minutes of baking. 55 minutes to 1 hour is ready. Now this is a sign you get to know that it is ready. Once you shift it, you see it will easily move in your tray or in your pan. So that means our pie is ready. You can see it. You can see it. So it is ready. This is ready. This one still has issues, does not want to come out. So this is just a sign the pie is ready in short. So you can see it. I don't know what is wrong with this that it does not want to. So I'm offing the lights now. Yes, done. So this is our fried fish roll. You can see how beautiful it is. It's our fried fish roll. The cause of the blisters is because of the egg that was rubbed on its body, because of the egg wash. But notwithstanding, it's still very beautiful. While this is the baked one, look at how beautiful it is. So feel free to ask your questions and place your comments. I'll be ready right here to answer it all. Yes. It's the beautiful fillings. It's beautiful. These are our fish fillings inside it. Yummy, 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 yummy. Thank you for watching my video. Catch you next time. So our beautifully baked fish roll is ready. You can see it. It is the fillings inside it. Yes, it is yummy and delicious. And see how beautiful it is. Thanks for watching this video. Feel free to ask your questions and place your comments. Thank you.